So although this is an incentive program, in designing Michigan's program, MEDC placed emphasis on building a program that might be sustainable in the long run, whether or not federal incentives continue to be available. So in this respect, a big emphasis has been placed on building collaborative and cooperative relationships. And let's see, I have a little, okay. So this little schematic shows our statewide partner collaboration, and it's just a few of the organizations that are involved. But basically, we've reached out to universities, to government operations from the local, state, and regional and federal level to work together in terms of supporting Michigan exports. We also have a number of multipliers in terms of the banks, the law firms, the accounting firms, the translating services, and all those private sector organizations that really can support having an effective export program. I guess that would be number one. The key aspect of the program is just to focus on partnering with these resources from all levels all around the state. And in fact, we're finding that even in the more sophisticated export companies that we're dealing with are really welcoming having this kind of information and referral because they're learning about resources that they just didn't know about. Particularly in the areas of there's free market research available in by some of these organizations. There are a lot of new financing programs that can really not only support businesses getting the financing to promote their exports, but also it can provide a competitive advantage vis-a-vis their other competitors when they're seeking to get particular contracts in foreign markets. Secondly, the way it's structured is focuses on a regional strategy. The 4 regional export networks have been established that serve as home bases for 4 international trade development regional managers. And the map here shows the approximately distribution of where these are. For example, I cover Southeast Michigan, which has those 9 counties in purple at the bottom quarter. Laura Darling, who's the Central Michigan ITM, is based at the Lansing Chamber, and she covers that green area. Right north of the purple area. Our NSED hosts play a role in customizing their region's export strategies and helping to provide programs of interest to the businesses in their areas. They also facilitate the operational aspects of the STEP program in terms of processing reimbursements, et cetera. The role of the International Trade Development Managers is to really guide companies through the application process for STEP grants, and also to provide referrals to these export support services. In many cases, we work hand in hand with some of the other providers around the state. For example, we would meet with companies, with members of the U.S. Department of Commerce Export Service, or perhaps some other sections of the MEDC's activities that provide other types of support for these businesses. Let's see. I also want to note that we have one more International Trade Development Manager, and that's who is totally dedicated to food and agricultural exports, and her name is Donna Lacorte. She works in collaboration with the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, which is the MDARD. And you may hear more about this program in a minute. But MDRD has an international food export marketing services section, which helps Michigan food and agricultural firms initiate or expand their international market research. And it also partners with the Food Export Association in the Midwest for additional services. And I want to add here that some companies may have not only be eligible for programs for the STEP program, but if their products come from the earth, they may also be able to qualify for other sorts of services through Michigan Department of Agricultural programs. Okay, so finally, The STEP is also structured so the companies are assessed based on their readiness to export, their chances for increasing exports, and or expanding into to new markets. So companies that aren't yet eligible for STEP grant monies can be referred to training through the Small Business Technical Development Centers. And overall, the program is intended to channel funds to exporters that are most likely to make good use of the money to have a positive impact on Michigan exports and Michigan jobs. In addition to the STEP program itself, the MEDC is also developing an exciting new financing alternative that we expect to be rolled out in the second quarter of this year. And basically, it's widely recognized that there's higher costs of export financing sometimes deter firms from exporting. So we're trying, and at the same time, the banking community is often reluctant to get into financing small firm exports. So we're trying to address these issues with a new program intended to sort of level the playing field and also make export financing more for small companies more attractive to the banking community. More details on that later. So in conclusion, I hope these programs that I've just described are going to be useful in supporting Michigan exports and as well as jobs. But basically, our view is that the ultimate objective and the best path to sustainable economic growth is to create an environment where Michigan firms don't need incentives because they are ready and able to compete in global markets on their own account.